His Excellency the Ambassador, Mohammad Rumehi, and I go way back. I'm very proud to say we've been friends for many years. And I got to know him in his capacity as Assistant Minister for Follow-Up Affairs, which has to be one of the coolest titles in the whole Middle East. Assistant Minister for Follow-Up Affairs. Now, what that means practically is everything gets dumped on him, poor guy. But he distinguished himself. It's one of the reasons he was named as ambassador to the United States. He did fantastic service for the state of Qatar. Anybody who's met the ambassador knows that he is a straight shooter. When he makes a commitment, he keeps it, always. And for those of you who've had the privilege of dealing with him, as Ambassador Patrick Theros and I have on a regular basis, you know that he will travel literally halfway around the globe to keep a commitment. And we've had the privilege of receiving him around the United States and flying in from Doha for the occasion. Just to give you a flavor of what kind of guy he is, last week when we had our snow emergency, I think most people stayed at home. But there were companies that flew in from Doha, from Iowa, from Illinois, from New York, from Atlanta, from California, who were coming in specifically to participate in the Ambassador of the Year ceremony because of the ambassador. And bless his heart, instead of staying at home that day, he braved the elements, he came out and he greeted some of those companies as a way of saying thank you for making a special effort to come to Washington, D.C. I think that's pretty impressive. When we started this Ambassador of the Year function about 7 years ago, we decided there would be two basic criteria. One is the ambassador's service to his or her country, and the second one is cooperation with our chamber. And so, for the first criterion, I think the ambassador has done an exceptional job. You can only imagine what it must be like to be in his shoes with a new head of state, with all the issues of the Arab Spring swirling all around, even a little bit of drama around the 2022 FIFA World Cup. There's been an awful lot of stuff to deal with it, but he's done it with aplomb, with grace, with intellect, and I think people here in the United States deeply appreciate that. On the personal front, we've been very privileged as a chamber to participate with His Excellency in many, many different forums, the Doha Forum, the Investment Forum up in New York, the U.S. Qatar Business Council and the National U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce worked together to bring him out to Chicago for a Qatar Airways event, launching the new route from Chicago. He's supported our IMF World Bank reception, and he's attended many different functions that we, and I know also the U.S. Qatar Business Council, have organized. So he's been a man who's led with great distinction. He has been a great friend of our chamber, and as everybody in this room knows, he's gone above and beyond the call of duty. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Mohammad Rumehi.
Thank you very much. Mr. David Hamoud, President and CEO of the National U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce, Board of Directors, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and a pleasure to come today and receive and accept first and receive this award, which is a very important award for an ambassador at least, because this is at the top of our job when we receive an award for the Ambassador of the Year. That is really a great occasion and an important landmark. Here we have some of the ambassadors. They might explain to you why. because usually the ambassadors, they are not awarded with anything. Sometimes they will not tell you even thank you. And when you ask the people, I have done very good and why there is no thank you, they said, well, if you have done bad, we will say something. If it's good, it's your job to do it. So go and do it. So thank you very much for everything. When I was appointed as ambassador to United States, there was about 7 to 10 people that I have sent a message to them, and one of them, my friend, Mr. David Hamoud, with whom I worked previously in different occasions, Forum for the Future and Doha Forum, and other occasions also in my country, Qatar, hosting international important events. So thank you very much, my brother David. And also, I would like also to talk about your Chamber of Commerce. It has done really great for the commercial relation between the Arab world and the Middle East countries, especially, the Middle East country and the Arab world with the United States of America. And this Chamber of Commerce has always performed well, because whenever I call Mr. David Hamoud to see him in Washington, he was always traveling to Middle East. So it shows how much involvement. And when I ask him, what are you doing? Sometime in Libya with 60 people, in Doha with 30 people, in Riyadh with 70 people. So all over the year long, it was very important to have this impression about the Arab American Chamber of Commerce, hardworking and really reaching out to the real world in the Middle East, and try to make the link between our traders and economics to the United States trades and economy. So thank you very much for everything you have done, Mr. David, and the Chamber of Commerce here present. There is one thing that when you are awarded with such award, you start thinking why they are doing this to me, why they are giving this to me. Then I thought, because the rumor was that I am going back to Doha or to Geneva, and a lot of people, they talk about, okay, what about giving you something before we go? But the reality, David, he talked to me before all this happened about being the ambassador of the year. One thing I can say here, that ambassadors, they always have problems to solve. They have the relation with the host country, they have economy, but they have also security, they have strategic issues, they have public relation, they have their own people relations and interest in the country that they are, and they have also all the policies of the country hosting them, like United States of America, with all the policies and views about not only a single country, but maybe a whole region, part of the global security of the world. When I came here, I discovered that I need to reach out to solve these problems. So in the United States, it's easy, because if you can't solve it with the politicians, you can go to the businessman. If you can't solve it with the businessman, just go to the think tank. And if the think tank, they say no, you have to go to the academician. Sometime you have, and at night you have to call maybe some friend journalist. They might help you in doing this. And if they don't, you will go very secretly and try to snake around in the Congress and try to reach out with some people, oh, can you help me doing my business? So the great thing about this country, that at least you can always find a solution. And that is very important. So what about if you have good friends everywhere? That is the aim. It was the most difficult task for me to come and try to explore every areas and become at least accepted, or people, they can accept to listen to me in every area. So here with the business, I thank the Chamber of Commerce, NUSAC, and all the business people, all your great companies here, and the friends that I have sent the note while I was coming. Mr. David was one of them, and two of them, they are here also in the room, this table, and they helped me a lot, really. So the business people were great, helping me. thank you very much again, and thank you for this award.
Ambassador Rumehi, David. David's been generous and kind enough to ask me to say a couple of words, and I'll keep it down to about that number, which is that I am proud to say honestly that Ambassador Rumehi is one of the most remarkable ambassadors that I've worked with over 36 years in the Foreign Service and an additional 15 years running the U.S.-Qatar Business Council. And I also value highly the cooperation and friendship of the National U.S. Arab Chamber and the work we've done together, mostly friendly, not always, but mostly friendly. This is Washington, D.C., so there's some bureaucratic competitiveness, always. But in any event, I cannot think of anyone better qualified to have received the award. But thank you very much.
Mr. Ambassador, it's been a great privilege to work with you. We've learned a lot from you. You've been a dear friend of many of us now for many, many years. This will not be the last of the awards that you receive, but I have to say, coming from the National U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce, you have served with great distinction and have really done a fantastic job of representing the state of Qatar. Congratulations. Alf Mabruk. Sorry? You can say thanks if you'd like to.
Well, I have to say thanks again, but that's no problem. If I can, you know. Well, Mayor Gray is coming, and I hope he will reach, and everybody will be also waiting for him. But when David talked to me about the award, I was going to tell him, well, you know, we can do it in a very selected number of people, like 10 or 15, and it will be limited. And he told me, no, you have a lot of friends here, and maybe a lot of people would like to see you before you leave. So let's do it big. And already we have 120, and we will go to 150 people. So I thank him for doing this to me. I thank you also, all of our friends present here, to come and to support this event. It is a real important event for me. This is one of the rare awards, but this time at least it is related to my profession as ambassador. So I'm happy with that, really. I'm happy double because it's an award, but it also has a relation with the profession, the diplomatic part of my life. As you know, I spent a lot of years in the army, and before I became ambassador to France in the year 2001. And here we have a different experience. So the army has different rules and regulations and way of work. And when you go to the civil life and the public service or the diplomatic service, you are completely embarked in different way of work, and you have to be double patient with the people, and you have to respect different time because the people, they are not that aware about the emergency like you have in the army. But then I discovered that the diplomatic profession is also a very important profession. You have to be exact, you have to be, you have to perform, you have to do your mission exactly if you can. And everybody will not pardon you also, rather as an ambassador or as a general in the army, not to do perfectly your job. So it is one of the challenges that I had. And when I came to United States, after France and after being assistant minister for like 9 years in Doha, I thought it will be really a great challenge to come to United States. Here, the center of decisions, policies of the world, and a lot of competition around what should be done here and there, and the challenge was really large. And sometime when I go to Doha, after 3 months, and I ask the people, listen, I have not been called by telephone. What's happened? I said, because there is nothing happening. Sorry, it was difficult. Psychologically, it was difficult. And when I go deep, they said, no, but we read the papers. Everything was clear. We don't need even to call you back. I said, well, what is the difference then? Why? What you need from me next? Well, listen, we never had that way of doing the papers. So your paper, they are so perfect that we don't need to call you and don't do anything more. This is the way we need you to continue with it. And when you go back to the Department of State or the White House for a meeting, and you go out with a lot of heavy luggages, like people putting papers and critic on you, or they ask you for something, and you say, oh my God, how I am going to address these issues with my government. So again, I had to solve half of them before I reach my office, because I see the urgency of solving some of the problem, rather by calling Doha or by just giving the answer to the Department of State. Some of them were very happy, and some of them went to Doha, and it's good that they reached Doha after my paper, not before my paper reached Doha. Otherwise, I would have more troubles to convince my government and your governments that I was truthful. So again, thank you very much. Really, it's a great time here, and thank you, David.
His Excellency has offered to accept a few questions from the floor, and we promise the mayor is very close by. Please bear with us.
Close by the airport, maybe.
Teresa.
What was your role in Doha? Will bring you back to Washington a lot? How can we stay in touch with you in your role?
Well, first of all, you can call the embassy, and they will pass you to me. At least they will send me a message saying that this number is calling you, and they would like to talk to you about this subject. So when you call the embassy, whatever, maybe the secretary that they answer you, give them what is the reason and who are you, and I will call. At least this is a guarantee. Second thing, I will be in the region maybe between the 20 and 30 of, and 20 and 29 of February. So this is, again, I'm coming here, if not sooner. I believe my portfolio will not be only United States, but it's going to be global. And in this case, United States will be one of the important subjects that I have to deal with. But I hope you will not suffer, and some people in Qatar will not suffer that I am going back to United States, because nothing new will happen. So if I find out that I don't need to come back, maybe you will see me next year. But at least now on my agenda, I am here between 20 and 29 of February. So anytime you need me, please call the embassy.
Sure. Another question from the floor.
Good.
Right there.
Oh.
What was your best part about living in the United States over the past couple of years?
Really, here you feel very comfortable, different than in any country. You are always in rush. And this has surprised me a lot. I thought here I will not sleep well, I will not go to see the family, I will not have spare time, not going to do sport. But in the end, the Washington is very realistic and not bothering you all the day and all the time, because it shows that how much the people, they are busy and they have solved a lot of their problems before they call you. Thank you.
Yes.
Ambassador, could you give us an update on the World Cup? What are the issues?
Oh. Well, the World Cup biggest challenge is going to be, I was asked at the table by this, I think, about this. The World Cup challenge is the infrastructure first, and the hosting of the participant, but mostly the visitors who will come to watch the game, which is the biggest challenge that we are facing. And I think we have already started. We have delivery of 2 stadiums is done. Infrastructure is undergoing work day and night, and some of our friends came back from Doha last week, and they said they spent a long time to go to the airport, so it's normal. We are re-establishing the infrastructure to receive very fast turning around for every match, like maybe 100,000 people, but you have to cater for the service and everybody, so there will be like between 300,000 to 400,000 people traffic moving through the city in one direction, which is the difficult case. And this is one of the challenges. So the underground will be ready, buses will be ready, I believe, and even accommodations will be solved, because some of other accommodation will be built just near the stadium, so that at least the people, they don't need transportation to go to see the match. This is one of the things. Politically, like every country receive a World Cup, you become under the flashlight, and everybody would like to see you. I will not say flashlight, but I will say X-ray, because they would like to see each and everything of your bones. So one of the issues here that they talk about, like labor issues. We know, because the labor, they come from outside, but why only the labor? There is a lot of other issues we can talk about around the World Cup and around Qatar also, because we are in the Middle East. We are not perfect. We have to improve ourselves. It's a good occasion to improve ourselves and to do good. And I believe even for the labor we will have to do good. We will do it. New regulations will be produced, increase of the inspections at the camps where the new laborers for the World Cup will be coming, because we are a service society. We have to bring people from outside, which is a good thing. People make money and have jobs, and they can, they can come and do very good service. The World Cup will be 1 month. It's not all the life. So for 1 month, we have to bring everybody for 1 month. Like this lunch, this morning, nobody in the service. When you come here, there was full of service around the room. So it is 1 month, one month, but one great month that will bring everybody in the world to you, and at the same time, you will be under the focus, and it deserve all the expenses that and the effort we are doing in Qatar to host this. And in Qatar, we are always try to do the maximum. So this is our way of doing. Some of our friends participated in international conferences in Doha and international office. International events. We hosted the Asian Olympic Games, and I believe Qatar was very perfect. Nobody heard about anything in the Olympic Games. Maybe after the Olympic Games, we had problems with the infrastructure again, because we have to plan to use these infrastructure for the population. How much we will serve the country infrastructure by imagining and putting a vision ahead about the day after 2023. What we will do with all this for Qatar. And that is the most difficult task. We have done well in Asian Olympic Games. There was about 80,000 people in Qatar doing the sport. And after that, we spent like maybe 4 years to change the infrastructure and handle it to the hospitals or accommodations or whatever social service to be done. And now we will do the same. But at least in Qatar, we have the vision 2032, which is 33, which is, 2030. And 2030 is another, mostly another infrastructure plan, another plan socially, another plan on education, another plan for the culture. So Qatar is aiming 2030, and within 2030, we will establish 2022 World Cup infrastructure to help in continuity and reach that target.
We have time for maybe one last question.
Mr. Ambassador, along the lines of 2030, I know that a number of U.S. universities, Texas A&M, for example, have established campuses in Qatar. And how could you comment on how important education and the kind of cross-pollination between people of Qatar and people in the United States and around the world, and how important education plays in that vision?
for sure, in Qatar, we had a vision to what is the role of a Qatari individual citizen in the future of the country. He is a manager now. He will be section manager. He will be the engineer. He will be the head of a department. And this is the future. Today, the people who studied in the United States in the 70 and 80, about 200, 250 of them are running the country, and they are now going out. Another generation is taking over. And the men and women in Qatar, they will have to carry out. They will have to do the job. It's not us. So we need this kind of high education, a special education coming from the United States, not only for Qatar, because you can't build a tower in a village. You know, you can't do a 30, 50, 100-floor tower in a village. It will be strange. So you have to take up the village a little bit. And it's better to build something 3 or 10 floors, but to improve everybody surrounding you. And this education city is mostly for Middle East. We have people from Bosnia, Somalia, and Kenya. We have people from center of Asia, Indian, American, they are there, Chinese. So the education city is not made only for the Qatari. It's a regional hub. It is a regional shining place to give a chance for education to everybody in the region. And this is our aim. Our aim is not to do only for sure. We need ours to be highly educated. We need I have here 5 diplomats. 3 of them were educated in England, and 2 in Georgetown, Qatar. And they joined the embassy this year. And they are very brilliant. So it gives us this kind of these people. And I look at them not as only diplomat. They are now in the way to get the experience, because I see them next ambassador, what they will do, not while they are only diplomats. So this is the aim, is to empower the Qatari with science and knowledge to be capable of running the future. And in this case, that's why it should be shine in the region. Because if Qatar comes alone, what about the others? And we are not really that selfish. The university is open for everybody. Thank you very much, and thanks to America also.
I promise not to take it back, Mr. Ambassador. Nice job. The mayor has arrived. The mayor has arrived, I'm pleased to say. And for those of you in the audience, not only did you get an Ambassador of the Year, but you also got a press conference. Congratulations. Mr. Mayor, we welcome you to the podium.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. I was just saying to someone, I have one of those schedules today that I can't wait to get my hands on the person who put it together. And somebody thought, I guess that I could defy the laws of physics and be in 2 places at one time. And I tell you, I wasn't going to miss this, even though I'm here at the end, Mr. Ambassador. And I wish I could have been here for the entire time, because getting to know you and being a friend with you during the time that I've been mayor has been absolutely extraordinary. And I want you to know how much I appreciate it. The ambassador and I got to know each other because we have a project in which we were mutually involved. How many of you are familiar with City Center? City Center is probably the biggest, at least right now anyway, it is the biggest project ever developed in the District of Columbia. And within a matter of months, we were together to do the signing of the documents to commit the financing. And I don't know if we'll give them the exact figure, Mr. Ambassador, but let's say that the lion's share of the financing for this project came from the state of Qatar. And frankly, in substantial part, it was due to the ambassador and his extraordinary skills bringing the District of Columbia together with the state of Qatar to be able to make this project happen. For those who don't know, is a project that has, you talk about mixed use, it gives new meaning to mixed use. It has rental apartments, it has condominiums, it has office space, it has retail. It is an incredibly walkable site. 10 acres is the site, and actually gave us the opportunity to do something that we have wanted to do for decades, and that is reopen that part of 10th Street, which is now, as you I'm sure know, Mr. Ambassador, is now officially reopened, and in fact, it was interesting. People were saying that cars knew it was open, but they were afraid to drive through there because it had been closed for so long, as if they were driving down in a walkable area. And city center is incredibly walkable also. Again, I think we all know the ambassador's background, and from being a distinguished military officer to moving effortlessly into being a diplomat. And he has done that with extraordinary skill and in such a gracious way. He is unflappable. I've seen that, in situations where I well remember us walking through the site, and we were walking through the mud when it was being developed, and not once did he change his expression. And for that, I will always remember you. I get to meet a lot of people from the international community in this city. And I can safely say that I've gotten to know you better than anybody else in the international community. And as a result, I hope that we get a chance to continue this relationship. Maybe I'll get a chance now to come to Doha as you take on your new responsibilities. And given the fact that the city center has linked us so inextricably in our relationship, it just seems fitting that we get a chance to share something today. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, this is before City Center was finished. This was the ambassador and I with our hard hats on, inspecting the site as if we knew what we were looking at, right? But it was a great opportunity for us to be able to again, share the good news of what was happening at City Center. And Mr. Ambassador, you will always be able to look back on this experience in many ways, but hopefully right at the middle of that, at the core of it, will be thoughts about what you helped to catalyze, and that was one of the most significant developments in the history of our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., and that is literally and figuratively City Center. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. I also want to present you with a letter of congratulations in appreciation for all the work that you have done. And I also want to congratulate you on being selected as the 2013 Ambassador of the Year. That is quite a significant honor, and so congratulations on that award, and just congratulations, Mr. Ambassador, on being a great leader. And we know that you will continue to be in your next assignment. Thank you, sir.
Mayor Gray, thank you very much, really, for coming to join us in my award ceremony. And it's a great honor and a pleasure for me to see you today. You are one of the best friends that I had in the city. And at least you are the first official that I went to his office and I had a dialogue with Mayor Gray. It was not an abuse of waiting for my credential with Mr. President. But at that time, I recognize your person as administrator of the city and how much you were involved and interested in each and every part of the city at developing, not only for the development of financially, but you were aware about the detail of how many laborers were engaged and how many hours they were working, and maybe sometime what was the income that was expended in this city, which is great to hear from a mayor of the city. I know it's your job, but not this detail. And at the same time, I would like to say that I'm ready to work with you in the future. I had a lot of friends in this city, and a lot of respect to the United States of America. And I would like to see you in Doha, and maybe we have to go for another project in the city. So this is at least our So thank you for your help, sir. Thank you for everything.